Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel ANIMEZONE Sensei. In this video I will show you top 10 anime where main character is OP female lead. This video is made for Pankaj. Thank for suggesting and request this topic. Female characters often have little presence, and even when they do, they are usually created for two purposes: to serve as a romantic interest for the male lead or to exist for fan service. So please be sure to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. Let's start the video. Number 10. Didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life? Having stood out from others most of her life due to her exceptional character, Misato Kurihara has lived without neither the joy of having close friends nor the experience of having a regular life. However, after a sudden death, she was transported to a divine realm to be reincarnated, and granted one wish to top it off. Thinking about the ordinary life that she had always wanted, she wished to be born as a normal person, with abilities that are average for the world she will resurrect in. Reborn as Adele von Ascom, the daughter of a noble, she possesses magic powers completely exceeding what one would label average. Still desiring to carry out the life she wanted, she leaves her home and enrolls at a hunter school in a faraway kingdom using Mile as an alias. However, try as she might to hide her overpowering potential, attaining her goal will be difficult, especially when facing against the crazy situations that ensue. Number 9. Wandering Witch: The Journey of Elaina. Since childhood, Elaina has always been fascinated by the stories written within her favorite book, especially those about Nike, a renowned witch who had numerous great travels across the world. Wanting to experience the awe of adventure herself, Elaina strives to become a witch, and despite the numerous trials that come her way, she eventually succeeds. Now a full-fledged witch, Elaina finally embarks on her long-awaited journey, in which she meets many people along the way, learning their various stories. Through all of this, she explores the world at its fullest, experiencing both its bright and dark sides, starting her legendary tale. Number 8. Wonder Egg Priority. Following the suicide of her best and only friend, Koito Nagase, Ioito is left grappling with her new reality. With nothing left to live for, she follows the instructions of a mysterious entity and gets roped into purchasing an egg, or specifically, a Wonder Egg. Upon breaking the egg in a world that materializes during her sleep, Ai is tasked with saving people from the adversities that come their way. In doing so, she believes that she has moved one step closer to saving her best friend. With this dangerous yet tempting opportunity in the palms of her hands, Ai enters a place where she must recognize the relationship between other people's demons and her own. As past trauma, unforgettable regrets, and innate fears hatch in the bizarre world of Wonder Egg Priority, a young girl discovers the different inner struggles tormenting humankind and rescues them from their worst fears. Number 7. I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. In role-playing games, slimes are usually the easiest monster to kill, and because of that, they yield few experience points. But what would happen if you live long enough to keep defeating them for 300 years? After many years of being a corporate slave, Azusa Aizawa abruptly passes away due to severe exhaustion. Seemingly headed for the afterlife, she meets a goddess who bestows her with immortality alongside a peaceful life in another world. There, Azusa enjoys her days tending to her farm, protecting the nearby village, and killing about 25 slimes per day, a routine that continues for at least 3 centuries. However, this rather monotonous cycle begins to change when Azusa suddenly finds out that she has reached level 99, the maximum possible level, from slimes alone. Despite desperately trying to hide this fact in fear of ending her slow life, rumors of her strength spread nevertheless. Soon enough, various people throughout the continent, like the Dragon Luca and the elf Halkara, start to appear at her doorstep, some seeking a battle, others asking for her assistance. Meeting friends and acquaintances who soon become family, Azusa finds she can live a life far better with others than when she was alone. Number 6. Vivy Fluorite's song. When highly evolved A.I.S set out to eradicate mankind, the carnage that ensues fills the air with the stench of fresh blood and burning bodies. In a desperate bid to prevent the calamity from ever occurring, a scientist bets everything on a remnant from the past. Turning the clock back 100 years, A.I.S are already an integral part of human society, programmed with specific missions meant to be carried out for their entire course of operation. Vivy, the first ever autonomous AI, is a songstress tasked with spreading happiness through her voice. In a theme park where she hardly ever gets a proper audience, she strives to pour her heart out into her performances, bound to repeat it day after day, that is, until an advanced AI from the future appears before her and enlists her help in stopping a devastating war 100 years in the making. With no time to process the revelation that flips her world upside down, Vivy is catapulted into a century-long journey to avert the violent history yet to come. Number 5. Ms. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. As Kobayashi sets off for another day at work, she opens her apartment door only to be met by an unusually frightening sight, the head of a dragon, staring at her from across the balcony. The dragon immediately transforms into a cute, busty, and energetic young girl dressed in a maid outfit, introducing herself as Toru. It turns out that the stoic programmer had come across the dragon the previous night on a drunken excursion to the mountains, and since the mythical beast had nowhere else to go, she had offered the creature a place to stay in her home. Thus, Toru had arrived to cash in on the offer, ready to repay her savior's kindness by working as her personal maidservant. Though deeply regretful of her words and hesitant to follow through on her promise, a mix of guilt and Toru's incredible dragon abilities convinces Kobayashi to take the girl in. Despite being extremely efficient at her job, the maid's unorthodox methods of housekeeping often end up horrifying Kobayashi and at times bring more trouble than help. Furthermore, the circumstances behind the dragon's arrival on Earth seem to be much more complicated than at first glance, as Toru bears some heavy emotions and painful memories. To top it all off, Toru's presence ends up attracting several other mythical beings to her new home, bringing in a host of eccentric personalities. Although Kobayashi makes her best effort to handle the crazy situation that she has found herself in, nothing has prepared her for this new life with a dragon maid. Number 4. So I'm a spider, so what? The day is as normal as it can be in high school as the students peacefully go about their everyday activities until an unprecedented catastrophe strikes the school, killing every person in its wake. Guided by what seems to be a miracle, a handful of students are fortunate enough to be reincarnated into another world as nobles, princes, and other kinds of people with prestigious backgrounds. One girl, however, is not so lucky. Being reborn as a spider of the weakest kind, she immediately experiences the hardships of her dire situation. Even so, she must press on to survive the numerous threats that endanger her life. Discovering that her new world has a system like that of an rebounds per game, she tries her best to hunt prey and defeat monsters to level up and evolve. As she gradually grows stronger, she hopes one day her efforts will be rewarded, and that she will be granted a better life. Number 3. The saint's magic power is omnipotent. Since ancient times, the citizens of Salutania have lived within a shroud of miasma, a force that brings forth monsters creating havoc around the world. When the kingdom's order of knights becomes incapable of containing the monsters, the Grand Maga summons a holy maiden, the legendary saint, to obliterate the horrid creatures and restore peace. One evening, as Takanashi returns home from a long day at work, a magical force pulls her into a foreign world. Upon her arrival to the kingdom of Solutania, she overhears that the Grand Magus inadvertently summoned two saints, and a brown-haired girl. Needing only one holy maiden, the prince declares the other girl as the saint, leaving to her own devices. Sets her sight on the Medicinal Flora Research Institute, an establishment known for its studies regarding herbs and potions. While indulging in her latest passion, has a fateful encounter with the commander of the Third Order of Knights. But little does she know, her aptitude as a saint will continue to exert its influence over her new life. Number 2. My next life as a villainess, all routes lead to doom. Most people would prefer being the protagonist of a world full of adventure, be it in a game or in another world. But, unfortunately, a certain girl is not so lucky. Regaining the memories of her past life, she realizes that she was reborn in the world of Fortune Lover, one of the games she used to play. Unfortunately, the character she was reincarnated into, Katarina Glaze, is the game's main antagonist, who faces utter doom in every ending. Using her extensive knowledge of the game, she takes it upon herself to escape from the chains of this accursed destiny. However, this will not be an easy feat, especially since she needs to be cautious as to not set off death flags that may speed up the impending doom she is trying to avoid. Even so, to make a change that will affect the lives of everyone around her, she strives, not as the heroine, but as the villainess. Number 1. Saga of Tanya the Evil. Tanya de Gurakev is a young soldier infamous for predatory-like ruthlessness and an uncanny, tactical aptitude, earning her the nickname of the Devil of the Rhine. Underneath her innocuous appearance, however, lies the soul of a man who challenged being X, the self-proclaimed god, to a battle of wits, which resulted in him being reincarnated as a little girl into a world of magical warfare. Hellbent on defiance, Tanya resolves to ascend the ranks of her country's military as it slowly plunges into world war, with only being X proving to be the strongest obstacle in recreating the peaceful life she once knew. But her perceptive actions and combat initiative have an unintended side effect, propelling the mighty empire into becoming one of the most powerful nations in mankind's history.